Hello everyone, welcome to BrokeN Boys. This is episode 50.
Yay.
I'm Mike.
I'm Colin.
And here we are. We're going to talk a little bit about the discography of Panic at the Disco in a little bit. But first we got to catch up a little bit, you know? We both had some eventful weeks. And a lot of new music stuff as well, some updates and whatnot.
Seeing a note, and I'm kind of excited to hear about that.
Oh, did you see that right there? Yeah, that's just a brief little topic. We'll bring it up. But yeah. How you doing?
No, I'm alright. Tired. It's early for us today.
Yeah, I think I mentioned last week that most of these episodes for the next little bit are going to be filmed at night, but we're in the morning today.
At night. But it's a little early because Mike had a concert last night. That was good. I watched it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was a band concert, to clarify.
Yeah. Just wait a couple years and then he'll have actual concert.
Yeah.
And then I have work from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. today.
And tomorrow.
And then 6 to 11 on Monday. So I'm going to kill myself. But if you don't see me next week, that's why. But I mean, otherwise the week's been alright. Just been chilling, catching up on all my shows, and I caught up on Euphoria. I've watched the last episode of Bois, Peacemaker, Pam and Tommy.
Damn, I've watched a lot.
Trying to catch up on Better Call Saul before that comes out in April. So,
which I'm not sure if we've mentioned here before, but at least for me, that's one of my favorite shows ever. I'd like it a lot, probably a little less than Breaking Bad, but it's very close for me personally, and I'm very excited for that new season to be coming out soon. So
I had watched a few episodes from season 4, but I forgot most of it, so I just decided to watch it from the beginning of season 4.
Yeah, and
it's coming back to me a little bit now, but I think I only watched 3 or 4 episodes, so I'm excited to see how it goes. I haven't seen any spoilers or anything, so
that's good. Yeah. Season 4 is a little interesting because it's kind of like a transition period between what the main part of the story is, because of things that happened at the end of season 3. So it kind of feels a little up in the air at points, but it's a good transition.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Bob Odenkirk is a great actor.
Everyone in that show is fucking amazing.
I forget who plays Kim.
Rhea Seehorn.
There was a scene in the second episode where she goes off on Howard.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
But it's been my week for the most part. Just been, doing school and listening to music and a lot of panic. Been panicking.
A lot of panicking through my headphones and into my pillow.
Screaming full force into my pillow. While I sleep. Night terrors. But nothing too crazy this week. Just excited for my eventual suicide after these couple shifts.
No. No, if we don't see you next week, you better as fuck be coming back for 52. That's a year.
You're right. I'll wait till after 52.
Yeah, there you go. At least make it a year, man. Come on.
You're right.
Don't be so fucking selfish.
But listen, my albums for this week were, since I had already heard all of Panic's discography before, I had to find a couple different albums for my little excursion to listen to an album or two a week. I listened to the Half Alive album, which we'll get into a little bit. Half album. And I listened to Ants From Up There, which Mike talked about last week, by Black Country New Road. And
we'll talk a little bit more about that, I think, as well. Little updates. But, yeah.
I really liked it. It was really good, really raw. I love the instrumentals. And, you know, I'll get into it at the with our monthly roundup in a couple weeks. But I just really liked it. And I'm sad that Isaac's leaving because that's going to leave a big void in the personality of the band.
It really will. So, yeah.
I'm excited to see what they do with it after he's gone, but yeah, he's gonna be missed. He has a lot of oomph to the music with the way he sings. So yeah, I liked it a lot. So
nice, good to hear.
Yeah,
glad to hear.
But how was your week, man?
Long, very long. It feels like forever ago that we did a BrokeN Boys episode, to be honest with you.
Kind of.
So I had mentioned in previous episodes, but this was kind of my hell week a little bit.
He's in a play.
Yeah, but there's like a concert season that our school has that our instructor wanted us to be at most of the concerts for. I was able to opt out of Mondays, but I had to be there for Tuesday through Friday, and each of those were scheduled until 10 o'clock. The only one that didn't really get close to it was last night's, but all the other ones were there until 10 p.m., and that meant I was at school for like 12 to 14 hours each day, and that was very draining. I remember particularly, I think it was Wednesday. I had a class at 9 a.m. or whatever, and someone did a presentation on like saxophones or something like that, and then later that night I saw them at the concert, just like in front of me. I was like, oh, they're the one who gave that presentation yesterday. And I was like, oh, that was today. I was like, oh my god.
Oh Jesus.
That's pretty much how I felt, just like, oh fuck.
What year is it?
Yeah, so it was a long fucking week. My days really blended together. But I made it. I'm here, and now I get to pass off my long days onto Colin.
But I have to experience them in two.
That's true, yeah.
It's not going to be as long as his days, but...
Right. It's still pretty long, though.
Yeah, I have to stand more. So.
Yeah, you have to stand and do fucking nothing for more, so... Yeah.
I like my...
You'll be fine.
I like the job. It's just like this is not the hours that my manager said I was going to be getting. So he said I would be getting midday shifts on the weekends, but this is more of like an all-day shift. So, but yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I think the week was all right, even though I was really tired through a lot of it. Thursday was interesting. There was kind of two cool things that happened. One of them was I don't remember if I've mentioned it here, but I'm in like an audio like engineering class, and we had to make an audio story of some sort, like a narrative. And I think we were supposed to write our own, but I just decided to nab story 2 from Clipping, which is the first song of the week I ever did. And it's one of my favorite songs ever. And I think it has a really cool storytelling elements to it. And so I just recreated that with what I knew in the system. And he talked about it in class on Thursday. It was like, yeah, I mean, you guys should be teaching this class. It was me and someone else who had something that was also pretty cool. He was like, yeah, you guys should be teaching this class, so we're gonna have to make it harder for you. I was like, okay. Yeah, that was really cool. I'm going to be posting that at some point, and if I do it before I post this episode, I can leave a link to it. It'll be on not my main piano channel, but music channel, I should say. But the other one that's called Plaintiff Scores is probably where I'll put it. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. People's interpretations of it were interesting as well. They liked, I don't know, he was talking all these things, like there's so many little details, like the lighter flicking, and then like it seems like foreshadowing or whatever, or like even a flashback, and like, yeah, it could be either, but at the same time, that's kind of, the writing of the story, not as much me. But I mean, I guess I don't know, I did the audio, but that was cool. And then also, as part of this concert cycle, part of it is we had 2 like guest composers, like that were like they're established composers who do a lot of cool stuff. And on Thursday as well, we had us in the composition studio. We had a chance to have them look at like our work for like 15 minutes or something. And I showed one guy who, I mean, I was kind of intimidated by him, but like, you know, he was really nice in all of his criticisms to other people. Like it was very constructive and like very open-ended, but like to the point where it was like kind of inspiring open-ending, you know? But then like when he got to, when we listened to mine, he just basically said like, yeah, I really liked it. And I gave like the context that I'm writing. I'm in the major that's aimed towards like movies and TV shows and stuff. He's like, I could see a movie like as it was listening to it or whatever. And it was like, yeah, I don't really have too much to say. It was really good. I was like, what the fuck? I did not expect that. But I don't know, things like that are just so inspiring for me for music stuff when that happens. That and like my parents brought up the because I saw them last night for the concert. Like the thing with Brad that happened as well, where he, you know, listened to the song. He's like, the motherfucking Mona Lisa. Like that kind of shit. Like it's stuff I'm going to be looking back on and just like it's my fuel and it's so cool. But,
great.
Yeah, but it was a long week still. But a couple cool things that happened.
Yeah, those sound like high points.
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Perfect over
here. It's not true. But also a little update when it comes to music stuff. If everything goes well, which I'm hoping it does, I'm a little in the dark on how this system works right now. But there should be a song next Friday, or this coming Friday. And if there is, I don't know how I'll notify you guys. I don't know, maybe
the Twitter page.
Yeah. Check the Twitter page on Friday. We're gonna hold Colin to posting it somewhere.
Michael start linking his Twitter.
Yeah, something like that. Actually, maybe that's what I could do. I could link my Twitter and then just check there because I will
create an Instagram page for your music stuff as well.
Well, yeah, that's gonna happen.
Okay. Well,
maybe.
Fuck me.
Sorry, that's not what I meant. Whatever. So that came off way more aggressive than I intended.
Oh yeah, no, that's already fucking happening, you dumbass. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I'll link something else extra in my place, and wherever that is where you can go to see where. But I'm hoping for that to be coming out Friday, as long as everything is working well with my distribution thing. It's a song called November. It's really, really nice, I think.
It's very, very good. All of this stuff is good, though. So.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites on the... well, lyrically, it's one of my favorites on the album. Musically as well. I like all of them. So it's like choosing between children for me. But yeah.
I'm very excited for that. It's going to be very good. I'm excited for everybody to hear it. I'm not yawning because of the music. I'm yawning because I'm tired. But yeah, look out for that. I'll post it on the Twitter page. I'll be, advertising it everywhere, just because I'm a good friend. So
it's true.
I'm his hype man and his manager. So
and to get you married, to do both. Yeah.
I'm also his little baby boy. So
well, that's only on Tuesdays. But it is okay.
We couldn't do it this Tuesday because he was busy.
But yeah, one of the things that also happened this week was the Half Alive album. It came out, It came out yesterday, for us yesterday, for you guys a few days ago on Friday. Do you want to talk about it first? Or, I mean, I guess I'll go first, actually, because you know my opinion, basically. I posted on the Album of the Year, and... I'm a little lukewarm on it, honestly. I mean, it's not all too surprising considering I kind of felt that way about all of the singles that were on here. Don't worry about it. How I felt about like the singles on here, I liked What's Wrong definitely grew on me. I still don't think it's like a really good song that I would listen to like a lot, but like I definitely enjoy it. And then that's kind of the similar thing with Summerland and Hot Tea as well. There's aspects of it that like I'm not a huge fan of, but like I can listen to them. But they don't really do too much for me. And the Make of It, I straight up, the more I listen to that song, the more I really don't like the direction they took on that chorus and the post-chorus. It gives me way too much AJR vibes in the very much wrong way. So like going in, you know, I was a little already, just kind of like a little shaky. And then there's only 3 more songs after that's on here that we haven't heard. And Everything Machine, I like aspects of it, but kind of the same thing again. Like, I don't know, the chorus I'm not a huge fan of. And then the post-chorus, they do some more weird AJR-ish pitch shifting, which admittedly sounds a little bit better than an AJR pitch shifting would be, but it's still not like something I'm liking all that much. But Move Me is that track that we've been looking forward to, that they've been teasing for like 3 weeks now. That finally came out, and for the most part I do really like it. I think it could use a little more low end in the ending, like they go into like a little rock section, and I think that could have hit a little bit harder if there was some of that. But in general though, it's definitely my favorite song here. It's really good. And then Back Around, I like the distorted vocals on it, and I like the guitar groove that comes in. That thing is fucking infectious. And I think overall that one is also really good. Probably my second favorite on here. So, but like all in all, it's just like a lot of it is very lukewarm to me and a little disappointing. But I don't know. That's just kind of my opinion. I on Album of the Year right now, I have it as like a high 6, and that's kind of how I feel about it personally.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm not as critical as you. So like, I mean, when it comes to certain things, but like. I genuinely enjoy this. It has been on repeat for me since yesterday. So I mean, it's not like a lot, but I mean, it's been on constantly. So I really enjoy most of the songs. Make of It, I don't love still. Like, it's like Mike said, it's not the best. It's I don't know. There's something about it that I don't really enjoy, and I don't like that they put it as the first song on the album.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
I'm really hoping when the second part comes out that it's all mixed together like Nothing But Thieves did with Moral Panic 2. But we'll see. But yeah, I've loved Summerland and What's Wrong since they came out, and I have a lot of fun with both of those songs. Everything Machine, when that came on, I was like, ooh, that's fun. Like, I was walking back to my dorm from my job, and I was like getting through the singles, and I was like, here comes a new one. I was like, ooh, that's fun. Yeah, I enjoy that one throughout the. What did I write a note about it? It's a different feel for them, is what I said.
Yeah.
It like, I can kind of feel what Mike's feeling with the AJR kind of stuff, but I don't know. I didn't feel it as heavy as he's saying.
I also just wasn't a big fan of the chorus on that one personally. I do like the verses a lot, and I think it's the bridge. There's like a distorted build up a little bit, and that's pretty cool. But yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's fine. But
yeah.
I Hot Tea though, it has like really really grown on me.
I would say the same, honestly.
I love this song. Like it whenever that one comes on the shuffle, when I'm shuffling through this album, I don't know. I have a lot of fun with it. I love it, honestly, and it's it's a really good AJR.
Huh? What was that?
A really good Half Alive song.
Hold on a second. Can we get the microphone a little closer?
It's a really good Half Alive song. I didn't say AJR. I promise. Sorry if I hurt your ears. But yeah, I really love Hot Tea. Which is funny because I've never really drinking hot tea. I've only really had iced tea. But Move Me, really pretty, really gorgeous throughout. I love the entirety of it. The music video's really cool. They brought together a bunch of their, a bunch of fans, I think, that are artists, and they had been uploading the artists' like renditions of the video throughout the last few weeks as like what were they called, like
creator's session, something like that.
Yeah. And I really like how it came together.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty video. And
I just wanted to add to that. Yeah, I do really like that music video as well. I thought that was a really cool way to do that. It fit the song pretty well too.
Yeah. It's a very good It's very good.
Mm.
And I'm glad that's finally out, so I can listen to it whenever I want.
Me too. Yeah.
Because the way they were teasing that for fucking weeks was like, come the fuck on, man.
They teased that song more than the album. So.
Yeah. Which is, when they were like teasing it, we talked about it a little bit last week or the week before. But like they said, oh, you're pre-saved the song and the album, and it's like it's a song coming out before the album, but it didn't. It just came out with the album. Yeah. They just worded it really weird, I guess. But yeah. Back Around, I like a lot. I think it's groovy. I like that guitar riff. The guitar riff kind of reminds me of. It feels in the same line as Summerland, kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
It has that same kind of summery feel to it.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. I don't know what I wrote down for it. Let's see. It's fun. Yeah. I just wrote about the guitar riff. I like the song. It's a good way to end out the little 7-song EP, is basically. So, I liked it a lot. Overall, I really enjoyed the experience of it. The only thing I would change about it is not having so many fucking singles.
Yeah. It does make me more interested for part 2. Yeah. But
yeah, the only single that would be on part 2 would be Time To, and that one's grown on me as well. But if it sounds like Time To, then I'm interested to see what it's like. Yeah, 'cause, like I'm enjoying the sound they're going with. It's a lot different from the first album, which I love. So I liked it overall. I didn't give it a rating because I didn't feel like I could rate the first part and not have the second part. Yeah. Even though I don't know when the fucking second part's coming out.
No clue.
I don't know. I don't know why they're going on tour with only half an album. Yeah. But
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they are, aren't they?
We'll see. Maybe they'll drop the fucking second part before they go on tour, which I highly doubt, but we'll see.
Oh, and also they used the Silly Hot Tea album art. Which I think is an interesting choice, but
I like the colors a lot, but it's just a really silly looking picture. It's just Josh Taylor with half of his head in the water, but it's like weirdly distorted.
Yeah, it has like that water effect too, where things looks different underwater.
Josh Taylor changed his name on social media to something else.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think it's like part of like lore, but
Half Alive lore,
I guess. Let me see. I'll search up Josh Taylor on Twitter, and it's probably going to come up with... Okay, never mind. I'll look up Half Alive, because it's not going to come up. Okay, following 21 people. Oh, wait, followers I know? Yeah. Finn Francis Meyer is what he changed his name on Twitter to.
Okay.
Which I don't know. People were like theorizing about it on Reddit. And I kind of read it, but like.
You better than Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit on Reddit. But maybe it's part of a story, but they haven't really came out publicly with anything story wise. So, well, I don't know. I saw that and I was like, who is that? Why am I following them? And I was like, oh, it's Josh Taylor. Huh. That's not your name. But yeah, I liked the album, and I'm excited for part 2. But let's hear about your new musical kink, Mike.
Actually, it would make more sense if we started here. Okay, but I'll transition into it. It's just a, it's just a little thing that I noticed recently. But I just want to give a little updates to my opinion on the Black Country New Road album that Colin talked about briefly. I genuinely, I know it's only been a week, but I genuinely do feel like this is a 10 for me, and that's pretty cool because I haven't.
Come on, Mike, put an effect on your voice and say it like I do with Silk Sonic.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's see. Let's get. What do I want? That'll work. It's a 10.
Perfect.
I hope that worked. We'll see.
If not, then he just yelled. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a 10 now. And our record store near us got. Oh, look at that! It's a magic trick.
Whoa! Something hiding behind pretty odd.
I know. Yeah, they got the vinyl on vinyl.
Show them that.
It's the blue. I will. Yeah, it's a really pretty one. We went in there and they literally got like an hour beforehand. It wasn't even on display yet.
I think they said it was like 10 minutes.
Oh, did they really?
There was like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, we just got this.
We got really lucky, but fucking look at that shit.
It's gorgeous, baby.
It's so gorgeous.
Might not come off as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here, maybe I can shine a flashlight through it.
Oh, no, look, I can see it on the camera a little bit, but yeah, that shit is so fucking pretty. And it's becoming one of my favorite vinyls now. But I'm very happy I got it, because I was looking if I wasn't going to get it on from our record store. I was thinking about getting it, myself online, but they were all shipping from the UK, so it was the price of this, which was like $35 plus like $17.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe not. But yeah, I fucking love that.
You don't have to cover it up.
Well, we'll get into pretty out. But yeah, it's quickly becoming like one of my favorite albums, just period.
Wow.
I really, really like this shit. But yeah, I would probably give it a 10. And the thing Colin was talking about here is I have a little thing called my new musical kink.
Yeah.
It's just something I realized recently with this album. I'm really loving when a track does like a double drop. Like where it feels like it kind of like did the explosion and then it just explodes again and does like even more of the explosion. I really loved it on... There's a Radiohead song called Exit Music for a Film where that kind of happens. Like, it's very serene, and then just, like, there's, like, a bass drop and drums that sound really great, and then, like, a few bars down, just, like, this chorus comes in and, like, everything, like, opens up. It sounds amazing. But then what made me realize that I love this effect just in general is on the final song on their Basketball Shoes, a similar thing kind of happens. We're in the very ending. It's in the in my bed sheets now wet.
Yeah.
That part. Like it kind of explodes. There's like some electric guitar and stuff. I think some drums come in there too, and it sounds great. That sounds like it. That's the build up, and then just all of a sudden, just like this, like addicting bass just like comes. I don't even know like what's making it. If it's an actual bass or piano or what or a combination, but it just like fills the speakers, and then there's all the background vocals going or whatever, and like that second explosion is just like the highlight of the album for me, honestly. It sounds so fucking good, and it is one of my favorite moments just like I've had with music recently. But I don't know, I really love them double explosions, I guess.
I mean that song is about an explosion in its own right.
It's true. It's very true. That's why the bed sheets are wet.
I like that as well. I didn't even think about that. It's a cool effect that people use.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can't think of any other songs that do it at the moment. I'm sure there's other ones I know, but I don't know. That kind of shit's so fucking cool to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah.
New kink for you.
New kink for me, And speaking of kink, Panic at the Disco.
I was waiting for you to finish that one out.
Yeah.
I didn't know where you were going to go with that.
Me neither. I was thinking in my head, like, maybe connecting to, like, Kinky Boots that Brendan was a part of for a little bit. But I'm
guess.
like, oh, that's a weird reference that not many would get. Panic at the Disco.
Before that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
There was a little bit of music news.
Yeah.
But there was, like, Kanye was, he was, we're done with the divorce talk from last week. That messy stuff that was uncomfy.
At least for now.
But he was refusing to headline Coachella if Billie didn't apologize to Travis for dissing him on stage, which she did not do. She started her Happier Than Ever tour recently, and she was trying to help people in the crowd, which she's always done.
Which most artists do.
Yeah. And she was like, she's like, stop the show. She's like, help them. And, Travis took that as an insult to him for the Astroworld stuff. And after Kanye posted that, Billie said, didn't diss Travis, I was just helping a fan.
Yeah.
Kanye. You're scared of women in music, I think.
Yeah. His name keeps getting brought up on this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see in a couple weeks.
That's true.
If we'll see on 2/22/22 if Donda 2 drops. At the record store also Donda first Donda came out on CD.
Yeah.
So I saw that and I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah.
But yeah, that was stupid.
That was. Yeah.
I saw a funny tweet that was like, because all the news publications were talking about it. And I saw a tweet that was like, man, because everyone was using Kanye West instead of Ye, and so because he changed his name to Ye,
right? And
people were like, wow, they got all the publications using his dead name, huh? But
that's weird though, because on Spotify he's still Kanye West.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure he is. Yeah.
Let's see. Kanye West. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like. How does Easy have 29 million streams? That's
no idea.
Bad song. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was really stupid. And you know what? Fuck Travis Scott. We've said it before. We'll say it again.
Yeah.
Fuck Travis Scott.
Yep.
Also, DaBaby and his crew beat up some dude in a bowling alley.
Oh. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I saw something about that, and I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Fuck
he was
DaBaby.
probably gay. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Fuck DaBaby.
Yep.
All right. Panic at the Disco.
Panic at the Disco.
On to another questionable person.
Oh, yes. Actually, yeah, that brings up a good point. We aren't as familiar with whatever the stuff is going on with Brendan or any, past crewmates or bandmates or anything like that. I have no fucking clue what's going on with that. I've seen some stuff that's like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done that. But I don't know.
There's a couple instances of Brendan Urie saying the N-word on stream, and it's like, Brendan,
come on, Brendan,
you're the whitest man alive. But yeah, I looked into some stuff and I couldn't. I didn't really find anything because it's kind of old news. It's
old news, and also a lot of it is accusations with little proof, which not saying, they're lying, but just saying, it's hard to judge someone based off of another person's word purely.
And also, he's, kind of disappeared off the face of the planet.
Right.
Since last year, a couple years ago, so.
Yeah, and, I don't know. I just wanted to... I think that's just something we should address off the bat. Just, this isn't a review of the person, it's a review of the music, mostly. With just some context of people coming and going, and I added that into my stuff. But this is about the music, not as much about the person and whatever. But,
and just like a little preamble. This is a band that I really loved for a long time. They have most of these albums are still really close to me in my heart, and especially this guy back here.
Yep.
We'll get into them later. But yeah, this is a band that I really enjoyed through high school, and we'll get into it, but they've shrunk on me since. So,
and that's kind of a similar story with me. I think you were probably a little more into them than I was, but I do have a lot of fond memories of this stuff because they're one of the band. When I first was starting to really get into music, them and 21 Pilots were kind of some of the first groups I really fell in love with completely. So I have a lot of memories of this stuff as well. But it's not as much as surprisingly, I found this really interesting because some of the AJR stuff I found I was a lot more nostalgic for whatever reason. This stuff I do have memories associated with them, but I feel I can look at it more critically for whatever reason than the AJR things. I don't know.
That's interesting.
It is interesting, but
that's opposite for me.
Yeah.
But all right. Okay. We'll get into their first project, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out.
Yeah. I just I have a little countdown on my on each of these albums where I have how many members are in the band. So in 2005, first album, they got 4 members.
2005.
Yeah, they have They have Brendan Urie on vocals and I think guitar as well. They have Ryan Ross on guitar and background vocals. Ryan Ross is also part of the writing, I believe, on this album, but he becomes a lot more on the next one. I know
he's great. Man.
I think they got John Walker on bass and then Spencer Smith on drums. They're a real band of young 17, 18 year olds.
Yeah, really young. Started out really young. 2005. Damn. I can't believe this album came out when we were fucking 4 years old.
Yeah, it's very true.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But Black Parade came out when we were 5, so it's still weird. But yeah, it's not terrible. There's just questionable stuff done with like how they. There's a lot of weird electronic stuff in here that I didn't love.
Yeah, I think we should. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but we should probably also preface this one has like a punk rock sound to it. They kind of have a different sound for at least these first few albums. This one's very punk rockish. So electronics in punk rock.
Yeah, there's a lot of like auto-tune on Brendan's voice, and there's some weird electronic breakdowns at the end of a couple songs towards the beginning. The second half of this album doesn't do it as much, but the first half is like very like electronic, and it's like weird.
It's a weird,
It's very strange, but I didn't hate it. I went into this. I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Not my favorite, but we'll get through it. And I ended up kind of enjoying it. There's definitely songs on here that I like a lot, and it didn't live up to the next few albums, but those weird electronic breakdowns on the first half. The auto-tune. It was just ellipses, the auto-tune. You don't need to put auto-tune on his voice. I guess it was of the time.
Sort of. Kind of not, because I feel like a lot of the like really like intentional auto-tune stuff came after Kanye's 808s. That was very influential for that sound.
Yeah,
which was like 2008. So.
I guess that Panic at the Disco just revolutionized auto-tune.
I guess so. They heard some early T-Pain. They're like, let's throw that into our punk rock album.
Let's steal that.
Yeah.
It tries to be edgy, and but it's what is it? It's very of its time, is what I said.
Yeah.
It tries to hit an aesthetic that I think they would achieve in Vices and Virtues more, just like with the, like kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's like kind of burlesque. I don't know.
Like musical-esque sort of.
Yeah. Like the way they do it on this one, it's just like it's very, very first album-y.
Yeah.
It's not great, but I don't hate it. There's a couple of bops on here. I Write Sins Not Tragedies. I have fond memories of that one because in 5th grade when I was going through my emo phase, and I was getting to My Chemical Romance and other questionable bands that I will not talk about because those are but I Write Sins Not Tragedies was like a staple in that time for me. I loved that song. And I still love that song. It's very fun. The music video is iconic. My overall feelings were I don't hate it. I don't love it either. It tries to have this aesthetic that I don't really think they achieve until Vices and Virtues, like I just said. And I feel like it just didn't get to that like really good point for me. Just that electronic stuff just like I really didn't vibe with, and they do a lot of good electronic stuff in the future, which we'll get into. But for now, it just didn't hit me.
Yeah.
So I started doing what Mike does when he like ranks the favorites and least favorites from how much he loved them and to how much he hated them. My favorites from my most favorite was I Write Sins, then Build God, Then We'll Talk, then Kamisado, then Nails for Breakfast, Tax for Snacks, and my least favorites were Time to Dance and Intermission because
your Nails for Breakfast was in your top favorites?
Yeah, I like that one.
Interesting. That's the one with the auto-tune in it.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about that one I like.
Okay.
That was like the only one in the auto-tune, with the auto-tune that I liked, I guess.
Okay.
Because there was plenty more.
Mm.
I gave it like a 6 to 6.5. You know, I didn't hate it, didn't love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see how much you hate it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I said, honestly, this debut is a little bit better than I remembered, kind of similar to Colin. I usually look back at this thing in a pretty negative light since it's not my typical genre. It's very pop-punk and filled to the brim with edginess and teenage angst. Like I said, they were all like 17, 18, I think, when this was made. And yeah, while this album is leaning into that sound, or when this album is leaning into that sound, that's when it's kind of the worst for me. I'm not a huge fan of that. However, they do something different here that they haven't really revisited too much on future releases. They play a lot with switch-ups. There's a lot of just like switch-ups that you don't expect like at all that happen in here. And some are better, some are worse. Songs will be pop-punk but then suddenly turn electronic or into like a string quartet on one song as well. It's very all over the place, which admittedly can be messy, but it does keep things interesting, and it prevents me from outright disliking a lot of these songs, because sometimes there are really cool moments in them with that. But it also leads me to half like a lot of these songs. I think the second half of this album is a lot more enjoyable, with the punk sound being the most interesting, along with more interesting instrumental palettes in general. Another thing that needs to be mentioned is Brendan's vocals. They're noticeably amateurish and a bit harsh at points. Thankfully, this is the only project where they do sound like this, have that harshness to them. So he obviously worked on them after this project. Yeah. But all in all, this album does some really cool things, but it is messy as an overall experience. Also, fuck these song titles.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Literally, all these song titles are so fucking long. I think the longest one here is the only difference between Martyrdom and Suicide is press coverage. Oh, no, that's not the longest one. No. The longest one is, there's a good reason these tables are numbered, honey. You just haven't thought of it yet. None of these like words even appear in the fucking song. No. Like, they're just long for the sake of being long.
Yeah, I don't. They were going for some weird aesthetic. Like, they're trying to be different.
I think like early Fall Out Boy did that as well too. Yeah. Like I'm not a big fan of that. It makes it hard for me to remember what fucking song is what.
yeah, honestly.
But yeah, my favorite ones on here is "But It's Better If You Do." I Write Sins Not actually, "But It's Better If You Do." That's one that really surprised me. Like I actually really liked that song. It was my favorite one. I Write Sins Not Tragedies, classic bop. Build God Then We'll Talk. Lying Is the Most Fun a Girl Can Have Without Taking Her Clothes Off, I think is what it's called. Yeah. And then I Constantly Thank God for Esteban, I also kind of enjoyed. My least favorite was Nails for Breakfast, Tax for Snacks. I really do not like the autotune on that one. Kamisato. Once again, I don't remember what Kamisato or Time to Dance really sound like because none of those words aren't mentioned in the song. Yeah. But I wasn't vibing with them. And overall,
Time to Dance is that weird like electronic dance breakdown. It's like boop, 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 boop. And then it goes into the intermission, which is another dance track, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I give it a light 6. Like it's enjoyable, but it's very messy. And yeah.
You know, a little bit of a rough start, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And I think they left for a few years, or a couple years.
Yeah. They left for a few years after having, you know, I Write Sins was a huge hit at the time. It was their biggest hit, I think, until This Is Gospel.
Probably, yeah.
I'm not even sure if that surpassed it. It might have even been until High Hopes, to be honest.
Yeah.
That was a big one. But yeah, now we move on to Pretty Odd. 2008. Welcome to the sound of Pretty Odd. We have 4 members still, the same 4 as before. I'm sure that will keep up and stay that way. Drugs are bad, kids. Unless you're going to make Pretty Odd. They were very much on drugs for this album. I can make an exception for drugs because this album was made. But yeah, the musical and lyrical influence of Ryan Ross is very obvious here, as this is his last project with the group, and none of their other output sounds anything like this, except a couple moments on Vices and Virtues, which have been confirmed, like, were made during this era. But yeah, it's a really unique project in their output. And I think Ryan Ross plays a heavy role in a lot of the sounds and a lot of the lyrics, and he has like main vocals on a few of the tracks here. Yeah. But yeah, it pulls from like Beatles Baroque style pop rock, with like similar musical maturity that makes that sound so appealing to me in general. Yeah. From like unique chord progressions to odd time signatures to like the really odd lyricism, but like that's also kind of relatable and definitely fits the tracks that it's in. It's got everything. This album made me fall in love with this kind of warm musical-esque sound that has made me love similar style albums such as OK Human from last year, or honestly I think it even helps me enjoy a lot of like the new Black Country New Road record, because it has a lot of those like, you know, sort of Baroque style, really upbeat, bright sounds. And I think a lot of my enjoyment of this record does kind of stem back to my love for this Pretty Odd album. I just love how it all sounds like an actual band collaborating to make something unique. Also, the balls it takes to release this after a successful pop punk debut is honestly really insane. And I kind of wish the band wouldn't. Sorry, that's supposed to say, I kind of wish the band would pull another fast one on us, because, spoiler alert, they could probably use one nowadays. Pretty Odd has such a unique feeling that I find so hard to describe in general, but it really is a perfect project to me, honestly. Yeah. Despite what others may see as flaws, it's just a beautiful experience that instantly puts me in a good mood, and I love every track to some extent. And my favorites, I don't have any least favorites, so I just kind of, and this isn't in order of my favorites just because there's so many, and I don't know how to, though it's just, these are like the highlights for me, I would say. 9 in the Afternoon, That Green Gentleman, Northern Downpour, When the Day Met the Night, Pas de Cheval, Behind the Sea, and Mad as Rabbits are all fantastic tracks.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said.
Oh, sorry. I would give this a 10 out of 10. A light 10 out of 10.
My first note was like, their magnum opus. There's so much personality, and I love everything about it. It's the singing and the classic folky feel. It's all just fun. So good. So fucking good. And, you know, this is the best Panic album. The ability for them to have put this out after the first one, like Mike said, is actually super surprising, is what I said. You know, but I'm glad they had the switch up. It really did something for them that, like Mike said, again, they could really use nowadays. But it's so fucking good. It's Beatles inspired, but like not overtly to where it's like, oh, this is just trying to be the Beatles. But it's like, this is Panic's like Sgt. Pepper's. It's druggy. It's fantastical. It's great. It's fantastic. But yeah, I love it so much, and I don't have anything bad to say about it because there's nothing bad to say about it. And I know this is people don't love this album as much as we both do, but
it's kind of divisive for people who really like the band.
Yeah, but it's just Ryan Ross is a real talent, and I'm sad that he left after this one, but. Really, 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 really good album, and I highly recommend this to anybody who kind of likes the Beatles, kind of likes Sgt. Pepper's. You know, it's interesting, and I think you'll really enjoy it. My favorites were Everything, and my least favorites were None, and I gave it a 10. So
there you go. There you go. Yeah, no, it's a really great album. It's very different than the rest of their output, just kind of like the first record as well, but there's a lot of classics on here. A lot of feel good songs, and there's some sad ones in there too. But yeah.
This one's always been on my little inner music track going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always like I can listen to that.
Right.
There's never a time where it's like, fuck that out.
Yeah, I don't feel like Pretty Odd. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah. So Vices and Virtues.
Yeah. So little context before you get in. This is 2011, so it's another 3-year gap. And we're at 2 members. What happened? We split in half. I think what happened, if I remember correctly, is that Ryan Ross and John Walker, who was on bass, kind of wanted to continue with this sort of sound, with the Pretty Odd sound. They wanted to keep going with, I guess more classical sounding stuff. But Brendan and Spencer were like, nah, man, rock, rock and pop, and the band split. And I guess Brendan and Spencer got to keep the band or whatever. Yeah. And so now we move on to another era with 2 members.
And this one really surprised me on this listen. I knew I liked this album a lot, but I didn't realize how much I liked it. It's banger after banger on this guy. It's got sort of the feel of Pretty Odd, but not to like the extent to where it was. And like Mike said, there's definitely a couple of Ryan Ross songs on here. Mm-hmm. But like it's another banger album. I like the aesthetic a lot. I think it does what I feel like they were trying to do with A Fever way better, and it does it throughout. It doesn't really stray away from it all too much, and every song kind of leads into the next, and I really like that. Mm-hmm. I love when there's good transitions on albums. It's like, that's my musical kink.
Okay.
It's just bop after bop. It gives me, I don't know how, vibes for some of it, which is kind of funny considering that Dallin wasn't on until the next one.
Yeah.
But I really genuinely enjoy this album a lot, and I love this album. I didn't realize just how much I did until this listen. It's fun. It's emotional. Brendan sounds great. It's just really damn good. Mm-hmm. Also, they're so good at last songs on an album. Mm-hmm. My favorites were Sarah Smiles, Nearly Witches, The Calendar, Trade Mistakes, and Let's Kill the Night. I didn't have any least favorites, but I said that Ballad of Molly says kind of shrunk on me over the years. I still like it, but I don't know. There's something about it. I think I listened to it too much.
Yeah, I could see that.
And it just, I don't know, it doesn't have that same feel to me as the rest of the album does for some reason. But I give it like a 9 to a 9.5. I love this album a lot. So, yeah, just shit on my opinion.
I'm not going to shit on it, but I definitely feel a little bit less strongly than you do. I said Vices and Virtues is interesting to me. It has a different sound than the previous 2, with more of its emphasis on like a pop rock sound. But it kind of sets the stage for what the rest of their albums will sound like from here on out, with more like subtle variations between them. It's also the first record that has Brendan's vocals shining more prominently, another thing that will gradually become more common in their sound. But as for the music itself, to me it's either really good or just kind of mediocre, personally. There's a couple songs that bridge that gap, but on such a short record, the mediocrity really sticks out. That's another thing. From here, all the records are like 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. I know Pretty Odd's like 50, I think, and I don't remember how long A Fever is, but it's like 40-ish, I want to say. Yeah. Something like that. The mediocrity really sticks out because it's so short. For instance, the trifecta of Memories, Trade Mistakes, and The Calendars are 3 songs that I like elements of individually, but they are all super similar in my opinion. They're very similar in sound and structure, to the point where they kind of make this short album feel like it's dragging its feet a little bit. I would have much rather seen one of these songs, Memories preferably, like just have one of them, and then had a couple of the amazing bonus tracks on this record in place of the others. There's like 6 bonus tracks, and all of them are pretty good, and some of them are really good, like Bittersweet or Kaleidoscope Eyes. I would have loved to see those on the record. There's also the song Ready to Go. I feel like this song was kind of the start of the appeal to the mainstream. Yeah. I don't know if it was written for it, but it was heavily attached to the movie The Smurfs when it came out.
What?
Mm-hmm. It was in like the end credits and stuff. Okay. And to me, that's kind of pretty apparent, especially in the chorus. It's kind of the start of leaning into that sound. But all that being said, there's a lot of really great moments on here. I would say that Always, Sarah Smiles, and Let's Kill Tonight are some of the best songs in their discography. Me personally, I love all of those. They feel so unique to the genre-bending sounds that Panic always go for, and they breathe so much life and character into this otherwise kind of samey track list. But in summation, this record leaves me with a lot to be desired, but what it delivers isn't necessarily bad. My favorite ones on here are Sarah Smiles, Let's Kill Tonight, Always, Nearly Witches is great too. Memories I do like quite a bit, even if it does sound a lot like The Calendar and Trade Mistakes. And The Ballad of Mona Lisa also like. And my least favorites are Ready to Go and Trade Mistakes. And overall I give it like a light 7. Like I enjoy it, but yeah, it does kind of feel a little draggy to me.
I can understand it.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to the bonus tracks yet, and I need to do that, but yeah, I understand it. I don't know. There's something about this album that I just really, really like.
Yeah,
It kind of clicked with me.
Completely fair.
So,
yeah. You don't have to agree on everything.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I just think it's fucking awful.
Light 7, more like a light 1.
Yeah, you know what? Get rid of that.
He's wearing the red flannel.
Yep.
This is not good.
Panthony at the Disco Tano here.
Panthony at the disco. Disctano.
At the Disco Tano.
Panthony at the Disctano here.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Into their Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die era.
Yeah, Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die, 2013. You got 2 years between this. Hey, look, the members went up one. Not only do we have Brendan Urie on vocals and I think a lot of instruments at this point, Spencer Smith on drums, but then we get Dallin Weeks, who we have mentioned before in the band I Don't Know How But They Found Me. He would go on to do that project, but I think he started becoming a touring member on Vices and Virtues, and then he was brought in as a main member for this album. And it's really great. You can hear a lot of his influence on like the melodies and the background vocals. You can hear him on too. He sounds great. But yeah, I said Too Weird has a special place in my heart, honestly. When I originally started getting into the band, this was pretty much the only record I listened to from them. So there is a lot of nostalgia weaved into my opinions on these tracks. But I do like the darker electronic pop that they go for on this record. Like Ryan Ross on Pretty Odd, you can really hear the influences of Dallin Weeks on these tracks. This being his only album he was an official member for. Spoiler alert. From the melodies to the slightly processed vocals to the rolls of the synths to the background vocals, his flares are all throughout here, and they sound great with the Panic sound. I think this record is at its best when it has that slightly darker edge to it. Nicotine and Casual Affair are two of my favorite Panic songs ever. And Far Too Young to Die and Miss Jackson are other great tracks that are also in this like darker synth pop vein. However, this record is when things really turn mainstream. Although to its defense, I don't mind a lot of the tracks that do take that turn. But for some negatives, Girl That You Love is probably the most boring song on any of their records. Even if I like some of the sound palette. Colorful isn't bad, I guess, but it kind of feels out of place to me. It kind of, I don't know, it sounds like some of the stuff I didn't like as much on Vices and Virtues bleeding over into this record, and it's just kind of a weird contrast in my opinion. And while The End of All Things is beautiful and has a really nice backstory to it, I believe it's like his wedding vows to his wife. Those are the lyrics. I do think it's a little bit anticlimactic and lacks a little bit of a last oomph to make the track notable, in my opinion. It kind of, it's really beautiful, but it feels like it needs just a little more towards the end of it or something. But all in all, this is a really solid record from the group and one of my favorites from them. My favorite ones are Casual Affair, Nicotine, Far Too Young to Die, Miss Jackson, This Is Gospel, and Vegas Lights. And my least favorites are Girl That You Love, Colorful, and The End of All Things is here only because I think it's a little anticlimactic. But overall, I give the whole album like a decent 8. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I feel pretty much the same. It's super solid. I don't think it's as good as the last couple, and that's just me. There's still lots of bangers here, and the addition of the electronic elements coming back, but done correctly, is a welcome change. Dallin is fantastic, and I wish that I don't know how got more recognition because he is truly talented, and he brought a lot to this album.
Absolutely.
He just goes off on these bass lines too. Like
that's true. I think he does bass for the album. I forgot.
There are so many good bass lines on here that I didn't realize were there until I did this listen through. Because like I don't know, there's some that I can feel like it's kind of like I listened to that Daft Punk record a couple weeks ago, and there's a couple bass lines that are kind of like, oh, this is kind of like fun and dance poppy to bass line in here. It's just like you're just walking that bass along this track, and Dallin's fantastic. And if he had stayed with the band, I feel like they would have done a lot better.
They'd probably be a little different right now.
Yeah.
Probably for the better.
But overall, I really like this album. and it also has a special place in my heart. I love a lot about this album, and the personality and the cool. I like the personality. I like the cool aesthetics. I really love it, and there's still at a high point with this one. So, I love this one a lot. So my favorites, my most favorite is The End of All Things. Okay. I don't know. I've always had a love for the song. I love the how low it sounds. I don't know. It's got a nice story to it, and I like this one a lot. Yeah. It's funny, don't, but it's fun. Yeah.
I do like it. I just.
Why is it on your worst then?
It needs. There's a parentheses, a little anti.
Yeah, but I mean, if The End of All Things wasn't there, Nicotine is also my favorite here. Casual Fare, Miss Jackson, This Is Gospel, and then my least favorite was Girl That You Love. I'd probably put Colorful on my least favorite too. You know, it's just kind of boring.
It's just kind of there.
Yeah. I gave it a decent 8 as well.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I like this one a lot. And on to Death of a Bachelor.
Yeah, 3 years later, I think. Yes, 3 years later, we get Death of a Bachelor. One member. So I'm
Oops, all Brendan.
Oops, all Brendans. Yeah. So Spencer Smith left the band because he was having some really big troubles with alcoholism, I believe is what happened.
Yeah, I think so.
And he left the band to help, focus on that. And I think he has gotten better. If I remember hearing something about that, which is good. I don't exactly know why Dallin left, probably just to pursue other things. But now we are left with Brendan. And
was he not touring with them after this? I thought he was.
He may have still been a touring member, but he wasn't on writing for the album. No. He wasn't a member for making of the album. I don't know why, but they didn't find him. But now we are left with just Brendan. Tell us about that, Colin.
Okay. So my first note was the end of Panic at the Disco and the beginning of Brendan at the Yuri.
Nice.
This one's definitely shrunk on me over the years. When it first came out, I really loved it. I loved all the songs on it, but over the years, it's just kind of been the precursor to Pray for the Wicked, which we'll get into, but I really don't like. And it still has some fun stuff on it, but it just, I don't know, there's not much to love about it. It's the aesthetic he was going for on the album gets lost in the shuffle, and it starts off as Death of a Bachelor, the single gave us this could be a crooner. He's a 50s crooner with a jazzy influence, but just kind of disappears. And it's kind of sad because that's a fun aesthetic he could have played with.
But, for sure.
And especially with his voice. He's got a great voice, but this is kind of that era where he starts to lean heavily on, look how high I can go. Look at me. Look at it. My voice is cool.
Yeah.
My rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody is on the Suicide Squad track list.
That was 2016, wasn't it? Damn, I didn't even realize that was the same era. I just don't like it as much as I did. There's plenty of stuff I do like. I enjoy the jazzy crooner stuff that he does do on there, but it just kind of gets lost, and I don't love it. There's just a ton of kind of boring electronic stuff, and it just gets kind of sleepy. I don't know. It's just boring. But I still like a few tracks off here. My favorite is Impossible Year. That one was a big track for me at the end of 2020. At the end of 2020?
Yeah.
Damn.
Just because it was, I kind of, felt it.
Yeah, that one also worked really well at the end of 2016 itself, because 2016 had a lot of celebrity deaths, and then also someone was elected into office, and there was a lot of negative stuff that happened that year. I remember. So I remember that one worked well when it came out.
Yeah, it was a rough year.
Yeah.
But I really like LA Devotee. The video doesn't fit the song at all.
Yeah.
It has Noah Schnapp from Stranger Things, and it's this culty kind of thing, and it's I don't get it.
Yeah.
But the song's very fun. I like Golden Days a lot, and I do have Death of Bachelor in my favorites, but I don't know, the part at the end where it goes into that weird electronic breakdown, just I don't know. And my least favorites are Victorious. I liked it a lot when it came out, but I don't know. It's just kind of annoying. It's very, I don't know, like the it's just fucking boring, annoying. Crazy Equals Genius. I like it, but it's just it's shrunk on me over the years. And Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time. I don't know, man. I give it like a late 6.
Damn.
Yeah, Death of a Bachelor.
This is we kind of have similar opinions, but different places where we apply those opinions. So.
Okay.
I said, okay, all right, we've had pop punk, we've had baroque pop, we've had pop rock, we've had electronic pop, and for Panic's next phase, we get pop. As soon as the band became the Brendan Show, we pretty much dropped all other labels that made the records unique from one another. Granted, I would maybe call this one alternative pop because it doesn't necessarily sound like everything on the radio. However, all of these songs had the potential to make it onto the radio, if you ask me, had they gotten popular enough. As for my opinion, I like this one a little less than I thought I did. While I definitely have a lot of nostalgia for these tracks, as it was one of the first album rollouts I was actually a part of. But I find the super clean production works a lot against a lot of these songs. Like, it's very polished and very cleanly produced. Yeah. And most notably was Emperor's New Clothes, which I remembered being one of my favorite tracks because of how much darker it was compared to the others. But upon re-listen, this thing lacks any edge, as the drums and the bass are so light. They feel like they should be like super punchy. It is like so like, I don't know. I like really. I don't know how I thought this song was dark at one point. But like,
probably just the video.
Maybe it was the video that did it. But the Brendan Show also really shows in a lot of these tracks. With, as Colin was saying, Brendan starts to abuse the ends of these songs with his super high voice. Just every song feels like it's leading up to just him hitting the highest note he can. And while they're Oh, I think I'm just saying, like, while he can do that and while he's good at doing that, him doing it on a majority of the tracks here takes away from that effect and just kind of makes it annoying. And this may be a weird nitpick, but I found a lot of these choruses to be like super rushed and unfulfilling. Like, it really felt like they found like one thing super catchy and then just kind of threw something together to figure out the rest of the 8 bars of the chorus. Like a lot of these choruses just felt really awkward at points. However, I still like a lot of tracks on here. I've seen some hate for Death of a Bachelor recently. I kind of personally like it as like a modern take on like a Sinatra ballad. It's catchy. To me, it feels fully realized. I actually do like that electronic breakdown. I don't know. I think it sounds cool.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I find that like a weird little introduction, or like interruption from like.
I could see that.
It was going, and it's just like, and it's just like,
I just like the rhythm, honestly.
I get it. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, I also don't really mind the show-offy vocals on this one because I think they do sound kind of good with the Sinatra-esque thing to it. House of Memories is a fantastic track with some of the most unique character on the album. I fucking love the bridge on this song, and the little subtle tempo changes that happen towards the end are like really fucking cool. And L.O. Devotee is still an all-around fun track for me, and Impossible Year is a really great closer with some of my favorite vocals on the record. There's moments that are good, but a lot of it comes across as average and lacking the character and heart of their previous styles. My favorite ones were Death of a Bachelor, House of Memories, L.A. Devotee, Impossible Year, and I actually do kind of like Victorious. I like I think the guitars sound pretty good on it. But I definitely see where you're coming from with that. My least favorite is Golden Days. I get it. The good, the bad, and the dirty just kind of does nothing to me. Hallelujah was really coming across as like annoying to me this time around too.
I skipped it.
I was just like
halfway through. I was like, this is boring.
But yeah, overall I gave it like a decent 6 out of 10 as well.
That's Death of a Bachelor. That was my first CD.
It was like my second one. Yeah,
So,
it was really early on for me too.
Yeah, like Mike said, this is like the first album he was a part of. It was pretty much the first one I was a part of too.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and I was super excited for it. And like I said, I really loved it when it first came out. But
yeah, and with this being one of my first album rollouts too, it's also kind of something that I've noticed that I don't like about a lot of things is when a lot of singles are released beforehand as well.
Yeah.
Colin and I were going over it. There's 11 tracks on this album, and 6 were released as singles beforehand, which kind of does remind me a little bit of the Half Alive album that just came out. But this record cemented in me early on, like, I don't know if I'm a fan of that. I kind of like not knowing what I'm getting into, just like little snippets of.
Like 21 Pilots for Trench, they did Jumpsuit, Levitate, Nico, and My Blood, and that's like a long enough track list where you can release 4 singles and it doesn't take anything away from it.
Like 14 songs or something like that on there. Yeah.
But like when you have 11 songs and you release more than half of them.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Me personally, I like 3 tracks released, maybe 4 if it's a longer track list. But anything after that, it's like this is too much.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But on to their his most recent album, Pray for the Wicked.
Pray for the Wicked, 2018. We still got one member. It's the same one.
Yep.
Okay, so a unique realization came to me on this listen through. A lot of these songs actually sound pretty good, in my opinion. Like, the instrumentals are kind of nice. There's a lot of beautiful string sections on here, and, like, there's kind of some cool synth, drum, and bass stuff that's going on, too, for the verses. The second the choruses start, we get a different story. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Ba 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 ba. High hopes.
You've all heard it.
Yeah. In theory, I don't hate the song, but with the amount of times I've heard those horns, it takes a few hours off my lifespan whenever they grace my ears. But I do actually kind of like the sound of the verses, and especially the pre-chorus. I was talking about with you, and we were like at a piano for a little bit yesterday. I actually do like the "Mama said, don't give up." I think that part sounds kind of nice, and like the chord progression there is cool. The strings are cool, and then it drops into the chorus. But it's kind of a similar story with "Hey Look Ma, I Made It." I actually really do like that little synth that's like. Like, it sounds cool, but it's just they reach these overblown, painfully great value choruses that diminish everything beforehand. However, I must mention that the lyrics here are the most obviously bad on any of their records as well. They're quite cringy for the majority.
It's very braggy.
It is braggy, yeah.
He's
but
like, look how high I got. I make all these great songs.
Right, but also it feels like it's just, I don't know, things like, what does he say? There's something he says in Dancing's Not a Crime that's like, it just feels like it's appealing to younger audiences and stuff. It felt like, I don't know, it just feels like their lyrics are completely dumbed down by this point. Oh, don't throwing shade. Yeah, he says like, you don't be throwing shade now. And it's like, what the fuck?
Which song is it where he says that the music industry's a pimp?
That's Hey Look Ma, I Made It. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, his pimp's a record. Or no, he says he's a hooker selling songs, and his pimp's a record label. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. They're quite cringy for the majority of the project, and are better off if you just tune them out. There's also the song Old Fashioned, which not only has conflicting chord tones in the verses that are so distracting and sounds so bad to me, but also a chorus where Brendan's voice just sounds so fucking processed that it's the first time I've ever noticed such an effect in how unnatural it sounds when something is overproduced and overprocessed. Yeah. There's honestly only 2 songs I thoroughly enjoy here, and a handful of others I think are decent but have something preventing me from liking them. Yeah. And the most songs I genuinely have trouble listening to on any of their records. Yeah. So yeah, my favorite ones on here are Say Amen, Saturday Night, which honestly is a great track. Fantastic music video as well. Oh yeah. King of the Clouds is also a really fun one. Apparently he just kind of wrote that in like an hour while he was high, and like, yeah, the lyrics mean nothing, but I actually really do like the instrumental on here, and I think he rides it pretty well. Yeah, Fuck a Silver Lining, pretty good. The Overpass, pretty good. One of the Drunks, sort of. And then the switch up, I like the switch up on Roaring Twenties, not the whole song. The little like 6/8 switch up they do, the Roaring 20. That's really fucking cool. The rest of it, roll me a joint because I want to go home. Worst old fashioned, hands down for me. Dancing's Not a Crime sound. I've mentioned this to Colin, but it sounds like music you'd hear in like Trolls 2. That's the best way I can describe it. Yeah. High Hopes. Hey, look, Ma, I made it. Yeah. Overall, I give it like a light 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a very light 5. Yeah.
So, I feel the same about most of this. My first note is he's gone full radio bait, folks.
Oh, yes.
And then my second note was bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
And then...
That's your second note.
And I said Roaring 20s came out when he was in his early 30s.
Yeah.
And then all these songs are early to mid 2000s end credit songs from movies. And my last note was meh. This one just isn't great. It's mostly radio bait with a few mid-tier Panic songs interspliced. It's just kind of boring.
Yeah.
And that's sad because this band had released such amazing stuff in the past. I don't have much else to say about this album. Mm-hmm. Like Mike said, a lot of the songs sound good.
Yeah.
But the choruses drag them down so fucking much.
Yeah.
It's just awful, man.
Yeah.
I do not like this album. My favorites were The Overpass, King of the Clouds, Dying in LA, and Say Amen. And my least favorites, while I like some of the stuff that Mike mentioned about High Hopes, it doesn't stop it from being my least favorite on this fucking album.
It's in my worst one, too. Don't worry.
But Old Fashioned is not far behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck that song. And then Dancing's Not a Crime and Hey Look Ma, I Made It.
Hey, our worst list kind of matched.
Yeah. But yeah, I gave it like a 4.5 to a 5.
Yeah.
Just bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mike started. Didn't you start writing an overall?
I did. Yeah. Here, just don't look at that.
All right.
Yeah, I have kind of a longer paragraph here. I felt I had a lot to say in terms of like a whole retrospect on this. So conclusion paragraph. There's a lot of things I respect about Panic at the Disco. One thing I've always really appreciated is their usage of strings. On every single record, they have some sort of string presence in there. And their character kind of changes alongside the styles of the record, which is really cool, honestly. And I also like how they incorporate brass in their last few projects, even if I don't always like the tracks they're attached to. High Hopes being one of them. But like those acoustic soundscapes aren't always something that's seen in pop music, and I do love the attention that is brought to them. I think that's a really cool character that they have. And while the lyrics can often come across as like pretentious with their nature of kind of just using big words for the sake of using big words, I also think it kind of gives them a lot of character in that way. It makes some of their more generic subjects feel a little bit more abstract, which I mean I guess can be pretentious, but I don't know. I kind of enjoy it. I also think Brendan has a great voice when used properly, and he obviously has a knack for writing catchy melodies, but as evidenced by the latest 2 records, I think he kind of pairs better with others who will influence aspects of the style and general production in a more creative way, like Dallin or Ryan. Yeah. Honestly, the future of Panic is kind of in a make or break situation for me. This is the longest they've gone without releasing an album, and with various allegations and Brendan's silence, it's hard to tell when we'll get something again. But when we do, I really hope they pull another fast one like they did between Fever and Pretty Odd, because we need a breath of fresh air. Prior to their disappearance, there were rumors that Brendan was playing with the group going in a more metal direction, actually. Like, there's like a whole metal version of the song The Calendar that like was put online or something. Which would absolutely be interesting. But if they stick with pop, I'd love to see them go somewhere like synth pop. They haven't quite gone into that sound yet. Or honestly, even experiment with something like hyper pop. That could go horribly wrong, but it could also be, something that they need. All I know is that my status as a fan is currently up in the air, and another Death of a Bachelor or Pray for the Wicked would probably revoke said status.
Yeah. I said, what a fall from grace. They started with an interesting idea, created a perfect album, in my opinion, and had a good run for a few albums there. But as the members slowly disappeared and it became Brendan at the Yuri, the music lost its spark. I know that with the recent allegations and criticisms that Yuri has kind of disappeared, but I think that if he were to come back, he could and should put his heart into the next album from this group that I used to love so much. I'm in the same boat as Mike. If he releases another Pray for the Wicked, I'm jumping out of it.
Yeah. We're kind of already on like the side boats or whatever those are called. And like the second another Pray for the Wicked comes, like, all right, lower us down.
Like we're on the Titanic, and it's either get on a lifeboat or go down with the ship.
Yeah.
And
we're on the Titanic, and we're the women and children in the boats.
So yeah, I really hope when he comes back that he puts his heart into the next one, because if he doesn't, it's just gonna be boring bullshit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we were getting on Prey. So yeah. It's kind of sad.
It is kind of a more depressing ending, but it's where the band is.
Yeah. Album rankings. I have Pretty Odd, Vices, Too Weird, Fever, Death of a Bachelor, and then Pray for the Wicked.
Mine's generally the same, a little couple changes. Pretty Odd's my favorite, then Too Weird to Live, then Vices and Virtues, then Death of a Bachelor, then A Fever, and then Pray for the Wicked. Yeah.
And then I'm thinking overall maybe like a light 7.
I think that's exactly what I put. Yeah. They're like they feel very much a light 7 to me at the moment. I think that kind of reflects my feelings. If there's another Pray for the Wicked, that will definitely drop it down to like a 6.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
So
it's sad.
Yeah,
but that's our artist analysis on death on the death of Panic at the Disco on Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna get into
where are we
Song
at?
of the Week.
Ooh,
it's a long one.
We're in a long.
It's a long.
I had a feeling that was gonna happen when we started 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you stuck around, thanks for that.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it. But we're gonna get into the Song of the Week now, and it's Mike's turn first this week.
Is it my turn this week? Jesus Christ! It is my turn this week. All right. So I think I was thinking of going with something pretty odd, but honestly, I was just remembering how much I love the song "Casual Affair" of Too Weird. So that I feel like that's one of the best songs they've ever done, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna go with "Casual Affair" from Panic at the Disco.
All right.
Just lay in the atmosphere.
All right.
"Casual Affair." Yeah, I really love the dark electronics on that track, but also I love the strings on that. They're fucking gorgeous. I love the way that chorus explodes. I really like the whisper vocals in the bridge. I did it again. Like
It really has like a creepy.
It really does. It's such like, I don't know. It's probably the darkest track, I would say, like darkest sounding in their discography, and I fucking love it for that. It sounds so good.
Yeah, it's a really good track.
Yeah.
Listening to this album through again, I was like, damn, that one's really, really good. Like, I love all the electronic stuff. I love it. Brendan's voice sounds great on it. It's just...
Yeah, and he's doing like the high notes, but he's not abusing it.
Yeah.
Like it's serving the track, and it sounds great.
I had to wait for that till Death of a Bachelor. And then he
true.
could show off.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really good track. Also, like a really good album cover for that album. I love
just like
the black
general.
and white with the colorful smoke.
Yeah,
coming
that's
out of
great.
the cigarette. I love that album cover. But yeah, great pick, great shit.
Great shit. Yeah.
Great shit. Great choice. I was also gonna go with something off of Pray for the Week. No.
Hold on, can you speak into the mic again?
Pretty odd. But I'm gonna, since Vices and Virtues surprised me so much, I'm gonna go with one of my favorite songs by the band in general. I'm gonna go with Sarah Smiles.
Okay, yeah, fantastic.
Sarah smiles like Sarah doesn't care.
Alright, Sarah Cerebra Smiles off of Vices and Virtues. I fucking love that track.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun. Brendan sounds really good on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I still vividly remember the first time I heard that song. Like, I was digging it for a while. There's some cool rhythmic changes that happen. Like, the first, like, verse and first chorus are kind of, like, swung, and then that's straight after that. But, like, the first time I listened to it, I think it's the second chorus where it goes, Sarah Smile, like
Yeah.
that little, I was like, oh my god, that's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, I really love that, like, that short, like, every quarter note sound for whatever reason right there. It sounds so fucking cool. I love how every chorus is different in that one. I love how the song feels like it, like, progresses, and it is a very satisfying track as a whole.
And I love when the instrumental cuts out on the last part, and it just sounds so visceral.
Yeah, but it's not him, like, hitting a high note or anything. It's just him, like, it's just him singing passionately.
Yeah, he just sounds angry, and I love it.
Right, yeah.
Sarah Smile, like his teeth are.
Yeah.
He's clenching his teeth and saying it's kind of like that part in the fucking Black Parade.
Oh, I Don't Love You?
Yeah. Fuck. It just
guts to say that part.
Visceral, like, angry feel, and I don't know. I love that.
Yeah.
In music, so I'm glad they had something like that there.
Yeah.
But yeah, really love that track, and I hope you guys do too.
Yeah.
So.
You know, those are both really good tracks.
Yeah.
And we were saying off camera that even though Pretty Odd didn't make it, it probably does have the best chance of just making it on any other week.
Yeah.
Just one week we're going to be vibing with Pretty Odd. Just be like, you know what?
Yeah, exactly.
Past a Cheval.
It's been behind us the whole time, too. So
it's the only Panic record I have on vinyl. Probably at this rate, probably the only one I'm going to have on vinyl. But
you know, I might shoot for Vices at some point, but that's the only one that I have on vinyl as well. I have almost every CD except for Fever You Can't Sweat Out.
I'm the exact same. Yeah.
But that's just for collection's sake.
Yeah.
I'm a collector.
Yeah, I don't quite regret having Pray for the Wicked on CD, but it's really close to it.
It's definitely not to the point where I want to break it in half like I do with the click, like I want to do with the click.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah.
Definitely a much happier note ending off on than AJR, but
yes, yeah.
Still kind of sad. So you know. But yeah, that's episode 50 for you guys.
Yeah. Oh, and also we are now accommodated, so now all these episodes come out every 5 episodes, and it's on I can't think of the fucking word. Dividends of 5?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Multiples of 5? Multiples of 5. I think that's what. Whatever. So like 50, 55, 60, 65. Like those are all be artist analysis episodes now.
Yeah. So we'll see you with another artist analysis on March 21st, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, March 21st.
Yeah. So hope. Yeah. I mean. Hope you guys are enjoyed. This is one of our beefier episodes.
Yeah.
This is kind of putting Takeover Tour to to its bringing it to its wits. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
It's just competing for the top.
Giving it a run for its money. That's what I was trying to say.
But yeah, that was episode 50. We're real close to 52. So that's crazy.
We'll figure out something.
Yeah. I have a couple ideas, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if you like this podcast, give it a like, subscribe, hit that bell button, turn on notifications for Mike's music channel, because you can find the link to that in the description along with his album of the year page, and maybe his Twitter page.
Depending on, I'll also be, if the song does come out on Friday, which I'm hoping it does, it will be posted to the channel as well. So,
and then you can find my album of the year page, my Instagram review page, which I haven't used in a long time, but we'll see. You can find our Song of the Week playlists down there. We have individual ones between me and Mike, and we have a combined one that has both of ours and guests on there. You can find the Twitter page and links to all of the streaming services to where you can listen to this. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. But if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music or any of the other ones, we love you guys.
Yeah,
So,
we really do.
Thanks for listening. I don't know if I missed anything. Don't think I did.
I don't think so.
So,
hit all the marks.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We will talk at you guys